which we refuse to ignore. This is Sunrise Breakfast Show coming to live on Topstar Channel 110, where we don't just report news, we interrogate it, we challenge it, and amplify the voices that matter. My name is Kapili Dominic.
And I'm Caroline Mukwenya. And for the 2 hours, we take you straight into today's heart's biggest stories, stories shaping livelihoods, governance, and safety and accountability. Good morning, Dominic.
Good morning, Carol. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, and how are you doing?
Good.
How is it for you today?
Good. Happy to see you after a very long time.
I know, right? It's just the rains.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So,
But-
okay, you can take the show.
Sure, but let's get serious. Zambia is watching. We are live on Topstar Channel 110 and streaming on our Facebook page and YouTube via Ptv2 Zambia. Here is what we are unpacking this morning.
All right, so before we get into the headlines and see what is weighing and see what's actually going on people's minds, I'd actually want to ask, what's really on your mind, Carol, today?
Actually, it's the rains that have been getting to my mind because we are seeing a lot of disasters happening, the floods and the roads being damaged and all those things. So it's really on my mind. And the community is asking, are we only checking this out because the rains are flooding up places and the disasters that are going on?
Okay, I think that's a good observation. And, I feel that this is a time that we must start to think, plan, and see how best we can start to harvest these rains. And looking at the flooding of our roads, it tells us one thing: there's no proper drainage system, and that is the only reason why we cannot, we are suffering and going through these hardships of flooding, and so I feel that it's the time that we should spark with a conversation of how we can best now harvest this water. I think that's what we should be doing.
Yeah, that's what we should do, because mostly people will always talk to say we only want to react when the disaster has already befallen us. So it's best we plan before the rains are due. And like we start planning. Imagine you plant, let's say you start putting the drainage system, and then the rains come, and those things are going to be damaged.
Yeah. And you cannot clean or repair the roads when it's raining.
It's raining, because trust me, everything is going to wash away.
Oh, yeah. So here's what we'll be unpacking this morning: the arrest of the Material MP Malsampa over alleged transmission of deceptive communication. What does this mean for political accountability going forward across the country? Farmers who supplied maize to the Food Reserve Agency are finally receiving payments, but at what cost? Some are sleeping in the cold, traveling long distances, and now criminals are taking advantage of this, of what is actually going on in Northwestern Province. 9 farmers have been swindled of course, 35,000 kwacha. But we'll speak directly to one of our reporters on the ground. That is what we'll be delving in shortly. And going to finish up, we'll be unpacking, the life of sports with our one and only JC Blaze. But for now, we'll be delving into a conversation with Jackson Mwansa just right after this break to discuss and delve more and talk about what's happening in over the Food Reserve Agency and at what cost are our farmers paying to get these payments. We take a break.
henna muligisi idekoda ya Topstar amwebele magani atugwa munchili agasimpe amumasena momukala ambunga abahimuwezelela twambo bahyomega abahimulimo twamwetela magani muhyogo yonse yajihi ana majaja wa Prime TV2 Channel 110 ninganda ileta magani mbwabele.
in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily me, the taste of home.
Prime Meal, pure, proudly Zambian, the taste of home.
When news breaks, we are already there. Welcome to Ptv2 Zambia, the channel that never sleeps. From community stories in your backyard to national headlines shaping the country and sports and international updates that keep you ahead, we bring it all to your screen. 24/7 news, fast, reliable, unmatched. Catch us on Topstar, channel 110. Watch live on Facebook, Ptv2 Zambia. Prime TV2 Zambia, your window to the nation, your gateway to the world. Henna muligisi decoder ya Topstar amwebere magani atugwa munchiri agasimpe amumasena mo mukala ambunga abahimuwezelela twambo bahomega abahimulimo twamwetela magani muhyogo yonse hajihi anamajaja wa Prime TV2 channel 110 ninganda ile tamagani mbwabele.
Kodi muli ndi decoder ya Topstar? Ngati muli nayo, onererani kanema ku channel yatsopano ya Prime TV2 Zambia pa channel 110 kuti mumvetsere ku nkhani zotchapuka mwatsatanetsatane. Izi ndi nkhani zochitika ku madera amene mukhala ndi kwina. Mogwira ntchito pamodzi ndi akatswiri pa nkhani zotola ndi kulemba nkhani, tidzakupatsirani nkhani zomveka bwino komanso zogwira mtima zitangochitika. Prime TV2 Zambia, nyumba yanu ya nkhani zongochitika kumene.
Thank you so much. You're still watching the Sunrise Breakfast Show, coming live on Topstar Channel 110 and streaming live on our Facebook page, that is Ptv2 Zambia. You can kindly put your comment in the comment section and join the conversation. We also want to hear from you and tell us what you are thinking. But for now, we're talking about what is going on in the world, or let's call it the world of the Food Reserve Agency and the farmers. All right. 9 farmers from Northwestern Province have allegedly been swindled of 35,800 kwacha by 2 unknown individuals after receiving payment for maize supplied to them from the Food Reserve Agency. The Northwestern Police Commissioner Brighton Siwale says the suspect claimed to be selling cheaper fertilizer, prompting the farmers to pour their money and hand over it. Mr. Siwale says investigations are underway and a manhunt for the suspects has been launched. Meanwhile, some farmers have expressed concern over their safety when collecting payments from the agency. One of the farmers, Enoch, one of the affected farmers said criminals now target farmers, sometimes disguise themselves and even spending nights in corridors just to steal from them. We have the details in this report.
They have been spending their nights in the corridors of a named bank at Kapijimo in Solwezi. while some of them at the main bus station. These farmers are now concerned about their safety after their 9 fellow farmers were duped 35,800 kwacha by unknown persons at City Mall on pretext that they were selling cheaper fertilizer. They are now calling on the government to provide them security, stating that they are now well known by criminals due to government's delay in paying them.
Akino kyalengera byobyo olukataje olukipokerwa kubamba twabanda mu bifuro bimo mukwikara sana pantupo mu kupemberera mali ne bonse bangivi beturabikira sona mambo achocho ke kuya pepi na tuwe mukusaka kuitongora amonge betuperenga bukijimali konshangivi wangi ukamba woni jina mali yiwane ponorombo rwetu kubamba government kimye kyoba yuka kuba byobyo betupeko security yarumburuka pantupo 2G
Nema ukombi wa izimiu chinafumi akwila tunaswezu kabagana nangashi government ina kuchinka kumana wanyu ulone government ya chinka kumana so aisona kuchifu etemali hetu asimuteno ukombi wadi kukea ilanga chinafumi akwila anchana kukama kwa kuna dichema kombi wena na tuiruki so tunakulomba government mwanu kuchinka ku security kudia wana kukama munu kuronda chikana security ya yuwahi chingina wa muna muni kuduma banki ejma amakwao adi munyikala nganso like kalumbila kwa itima banki dichi etenga amana mabanki adi ne kushi kalumbila kushi kumwilunga kule anso atambwile kama alikuwa kuno kamui noti kunukusolezi mpinji ejma wanyu
mana chiarengera byonsebe mambo ka furumende kechuwa kutako mana bukizine bo barengera kwa mambo bakabwarara bobeka betu pangenga panyuma ngabazi bakutako mana mgutupa bukizemo bapoa ngatwa kutambura bukizine bakabwarara ngakafuako.
Northwestern Province Police Commissioner Brighton Siwale has also confirmed the incident to Prime Television that 9 farmers from Kankonji, after getting their money from FRA, had decided to go for shopping at Solwezi City Mall. Whilst at Solwezi City Mall, the farmers started discussing buying fertilizer. As they were discussing, 2 male persons overheard the conversation and approached the farmers and told them they were selling cheaper fertilizer at 900 kwacha per 50 kg bag. They further told them to put the money together, which they did, and gave to 1 person to represent them. So far, no arrest has been made and the manhunt for the suspects has been launched. Jackson Mwansa reporting for Prime Television News in Solwezi District of Northwestern Province.
Thank you so much, viewers. So that is the clip and that is the report. And now we'll be discussing with Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson Mwansa, good morning.
Good morning, thank you.
You're welcome and you're live on Prime Television on The Breakfast Show.
Thank you. Hello? Yes, sir.
Welcome and you're live on the Sunrise Breakfast Show.
Thank you.
Mr. Jackson, print us the real picture. How desperate is this situation for farmers trying to access their FRA payments in Northwestern Province?
Thank you so much for according me this chance to brief the nation on the farmers' situation in the Northwestern Province concerning food agency payments. The biggest challenge is, long queues, which was as a result of a slow pace at which the commercial banks were disbursing the money to the farmers. Additionally, there are some farmers who have been, spending nights along the corridors of these banks. So, like right now, where I am, there are two banks at City Mall. Then, right away, there are about 15 farmers, as you can see in this clip. They traveled about over 300 plus kilometers from Chovwe, that is Kalumbila district. So now, there are worries that they don't even know when they are going to be paid these monies. And then also, they spent a lot of money to come to this place. So they are saying they started off from Chovwe around the 01. Others started off at 20 hours, and they were arriving to this place around 06 hours.
So, Mr. Jackson,
are there any places that are good for shielding these people? Looking at the time, it's the rainy season. Are there any shelters for these people?
Actually, there are no shelters where they are coming from. Normally, what happens whenever they are coming, in case of rains, they just maybe sit in shelters, like on the way. Maybe if they find some buildings or maybe the same vehicles that they are using, they will stay there until the rains are done. Because looking at the terrain and the bad road networks, so normally they have nowhere to stay when it is raining. And then some they are even soaked, as I've found them here.
This is very, very sad.
In short, they have nowhere to stay.
This is sad, and this.
Once it starts raining, they continue their journey until they reach Solwezi.
This is very sad.
This should not be happening to Zambians, especially who have green national registration cards. This should not happen to Zambians. These payments, Mr. Jackson, these are not bonuses. This is survival money. How are these delayed payments affecting the farmers' ability to prepare for the next farming season?
Thank you so much for that question. Truth be told, many farmers spoken to complained about not being able to cultivate this season, because this is the same capital they depended on. And if if not God's grace, hunger is anticipated in most homes in 2026 and 2027 farming season.
Yeah. This is quite very sad.
We've seen farmers being robbed. We've seen farmers being swindled, even killed after receiving payments. Are FRA payments systems indirectly exposing farmers to danger? We've seen farmers being robbed. We have seen others being swindled. And we've seen others even being killed after accessing their payments. So are the FRA payment systems directly exposing our farmers to danger?
Unfortunately, yes. The province has, recorded many of such cases, talking from the police payments received, and also from information on the ground. The biggest challenge was how long it had to take before some farmers could be, cleared, and the criminals took advantage of such clouds. And, previously we never saw big numbers of farmers doing so. And I think whatever method was used in the past was the best. And we do not need to, no, we were not supposed to change it, or we do not need to change it, but rather just improve on it.
Okay. So, Mr. Jackson,
beyond advice, what practical and immediate solutions are farmers themselves calling for from government and from the banks?
Sir?
So, beyond advice,
you can come again, sir?
What?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Jackson. Beyond advice, what practical immediate solutions are farmers calling for from the government and banks?
Thank you so much. Farmers are calling for government to provide, mobile money payments. Government guaranteed bridge payments. Government should authorize partial advance payments, for example, 30 to 50% to farmers immediately after delivery and grading. The balance can be settled later once once full reconciliation is done, and then also the balance once it's settled. I think this will help farmers buy inputs, pay loans, and survive the lean period.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Mr. Jackson,
I'll ask you a very blunt question. Do farmers really feel abandoned?
I can say yes, because some are saying, when government was, when government just introduced the issue of getting money through the banks, some said they were neglected, or they are neglected, because others are expected that government would do the same as they were getting through mobile money.
Mobile money.
Yes.
Okay.
Very sad, and what's happening there in Northwestern Province should not ever happen in the history of Zambia, and should never happen coming forth forward. We have seen the farmers are now suggesting that a partial payment system should happen so that they can start to prepare for the next farming season, because others have failed already, and they're saying they cannot go into the next farming season because they don't have the money. This money is not bonus money, it's money for survival, it's money to put in and for them to buy more farming inputs, and we see others that were swindled because they wanted to buy fertilizer, which is just saying the same thing. These people, when they get this money, they are planning to make payment for the next. We thank you for Mr. Jackson. We thank you for that insights. But for now, we take a break, and Stu to come will be discussing more.
Maybe last week, sorry, sir. Hello? Yes, sir. Maybe decentralized payments processing.
henna muli GCE decoder ya Topstar amwebele magani atugwa munchili agasimpe amumasena momukala ambunga bahimuwezelela twambo bahyo mega abahimulimo tomwetela magani muhyoko yonse hajihi ana majaja wa Prime TV2 channel 110 ninganda ile tamagani mbwabele.
Kodi muli ndi decoder ya Topstar? Ngati muli nayo, onererani kanema ku channel yatsopano ya Prime TV2 Zambia pa channel 110 kuti mumvetsere ku nkhani zothyakuka mwatsatanetsatane. Izi ndi nkhani zochitika ku madera amene mukhala ndi kwina. Mogwira ntchito pamodzi ndi akatswiri pa nkhani zotola ndi kulemba nkhani, tidzakupatsirani nkhani zomveka bwino komanso zogwira mtima zitangochitika. Prime TV2 Zambia, nyumba yanu ya nkhani zongochitika kumene. Kodi muli ndi decoder ya Topstar? Ngati muli nayo, onererani kanema ku channel yatsopano ya Prime TV2 Zambia pa channel 110 kuti mumvetsere ku nkhani zothyakuka mwatsatanetsatane. izi ndi nkhani zochitika ku madera amene mukhala ndi kwina. Mogwira ntchito pamodzi ndi akatswiri pa nkhani zotola ndi kulemba nkhani, tidzakupatsirani nkhani zomveka bwino komanso zogwira mtima zitangochitika. Prime TV2 Zambia, nyumba yanu ya nkhani zongochitika kumene.
It is Saturday, the 10th day in the month of January 20.
Early in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily me, the taste of home.
Prime Meal, pure, proudly Zambian, the taste of home.
Welcome back to the Sunrise Breakfast Show. We are coming to you live on Topstar Channel 110 and streaming live on our Facebook page, keeping you connected wherever you are. We are now joined by Jimmy Cliff, the Group Chairperson of Safety Management Training Services. Jimmy, good morning to you.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm fantastic this morning.
All right, so kindly tell us about your organization.
Okay, so SMTS, Safety Management Training Services. We are one of the leading health and safety consultancies in Zambia.
Okay.
The entity's been around for 25 years, and we've been in Zambia now for 10 years. So we celebrated our 10th anniversary.
Oh.
What do we do? Health and safety consultancy, health and safety training at accredited local and international level.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
so
we
it's been 10 years since you opened up your organization.
10 years here, 10 years, yeah. It's been an interesting 10 years.
All right, so let's start plainly in Zambia. Taking place safety seriously, or we still reacting after people are being injured or killed?
A bit of both. Okay,
Both.
a bit of both. I think the new OSH Act that has just been announced is going to make some difference. We have had a lot of unnecessary accidents in the past.
Yes.
We are making improvements to that. The industry is making improvements to that. The government is making improvements. And I think what we're going to see now is a massive tightening up on legislation and also, and this is key, enforcement. The new acts, the new regime gives enforcement officers a lot more latitude to be able to prosecute offending businesses.
All right, so moving on, we hear of companies cutting corners. In your experience, are safety violations driven by ignorance, negligence, or greed?
Ooh, a bit of all of that, and some more.
Kindly shed more light on that one so that people may understand.
Let me unpack this.
Okay.
In the past, there have been more loopholes in legislation. Okay. Now, if you are driving a car and there is no real enforcement to prosecute you if you are drunk when you get stopped by the police, you're going to drink and drive. Okay?
Sure.
So we shouldn't be surprised when a person gets stopped or has an accident, kills somebody in a car, and we find out that they're drunk. Because in the past it's been very easy to get away with that. Okay. We've now got improved enforcement with RATSA, improved enforcement with the police, it's going in the right direction. And what we're hoping to do with that is to tackle bad driving and so on and so on. Right, take that into a workplace. If we've got no real rules about working at height or confined space or general safety on site, it's very easy for a company that doesn't want to spend money on safety for them to get away with it.
So it's always like, there's always a certain company that always has to pay a price in order for them to attend that safety.
A lot do, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So we've seen a massive clamp down with workers' compensation. That's a good thing.
Yes.
It's a brilliant thing. Workers' compensation are really clamping down on negligence at work. I do a lot of law training and a lot of law seminars. And one of the things we talk about is liability. Liability for companies, liability for contracting companies. And quite often you get a case, there's one that's just been announced a couple of weeks ago, where a person put in a claim against their company, but also the owner of the company, the mine, this was a mine, the contractor was prosecuted, but also the mine was prosecuted for not providing a safe place of work. And that's in the public domain, so I'm not making it, it's not any secret. So we're seeing a much broader legal system now, and the recent OSH Act release is going to help that. It's going to help it massively. And it helps organisations. I'm part of ZOSA, which is the Zambian Occupational Safety and Health Association. There's Chamber of Mines. It helps all those organisations being able to tie things up with the companies that traditionally would flout the law.
So when it comes to the ignorance part, how have you dealt with the people that you're working with and the organizations that you've, let's say, partnered with?
Okay, so, and I'm going to say this in front of the cameras.
Okay.
First things first, ignorance in law is no defence. Okay, I did not know does not work. Okay. And we're going to see a switch.
And then the grid part, how does the grid part comes in?
Well, the grid part comes where people don't want to spend money on safety systems, you know. If you want to send somebody onto a roof, you can tell them to get up there in flip-flops and shorts, or you can provide them with safety equipment, safe systems of work, etc., etc. So, depending on what the situation is, we're going to see an increase in regulations now on how you need to do what certain things like working at height and so on and so on. That will cost money. It will cost employers money. But the offset is, and again, for the viewers, the offset against the money that you'll spend on safety is a lot less than the compensation you're going to have to pay for accidents. So there's this cliche out there that says...
So you mean to say the one that you pay after the accident is more than what you pay?
Yeah. But
really?
way more. And the thing is, once you do it and sort it out, that's a one-time cost. If you keep having accidents and keep getting workers' compensation or potentially sued, there's been a number of cases now where Zambian workers have sued the organisation over and above workers' compapensation. And some of those figures are big. I'm not going to mention on here how big.
No, please don't.
But they're big. So keeping the workplace safe costs a fraction of the compensation that could come later.
I see. Okay, so moving on to our next question. How many workers today go to work unsure if they return home and alive, and who should be held responsible when safety system fail?
Okay, so this is a complicated question, and I'm going to answer it best I can in 30 seconds. Okay, sure. All right? There is negligence, okay, and there's also duty of care. Now, in law, you have to establish who owes who a duty of care. So if you've got an employee that is working in an unsafe environment, and gets killed, the employer legally owed them a duty of care.
Oh.
Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they could be prosecuted for negligence. They could be prosecuted for gross negligence manslaughter. And do you know what the maximum sentence is for that? Life in prison.
Oh, really?
Life in prison. Now, we don't exercise that at the moment, but it is available to our courts. Okay? With the new legislation that's come into place, it gives the authorities more freedom to be able to go down that route. Okay? That's number one.
Okay.
But, and to just answer your question, there's going to be a lot of employees out there now licking their hands going, "Oh, great, this is fantastic."
Yes.
There's also what's called contributory negligence. So if you were told to do something in a certain way and you did it like this and had an accident, then workers' compensation will look at that and say, hang on, your employer told you to do it one way and you did it another, so there's no compensation. So it works both ways. It works both ways. Safety is about cooperation between management and employees. Okay? Safety is everybody's responsibility. Everybody has a duty of care. Okay.
All right, so those people that are supposed to pay when the accident, they are involved in an accident, the compensation is paid in installment, or they expect you to pay the whole amount there and then?
Yeah, the whole amount.
The whole amount?
Yeah. So the case that's just gone through court took 4 years to come to fruition.
So what happens if you don't have the whole amount?
You go bust.
Wow.
There's no running away from this.
There's no running away.
This is law.
It's like you're stuck.
Yeah.
You're where you are. No going back.
So get it right.
So every time you have to get it right.
Get it right.
Once you miss it, then you just...
Yeah. This is nothing new. Remember, we've had legislation in the past, but this is what's happened now with the new WASH Act is this is a revision which has just put enhancement on there. First of all, to expand to different working sectors. You know, we've always had a very strong mining sector. The mining industry is almost self-regulated. But what about agriculture? What about manufacturing? What about healthcare? What about all the people that are working in convenience retail? You know, they have accidents, and we need to make sure that their employers as well make it safe for them.
All right, let's move on to the next question. What enforcement gaps exist between safety laws on paper and what happens on the ground?
You don't know what you don't know.
So it's best to leave what is unknown unknown.
No. It's best to upskill inspectors. So, for example, you're not a safety person, I assume. You could walk down the road and see somebody dangling off the edge of a demolition site and go, ooh, they could fall.
They could fall,
yeah,
and hurt themselves.
And that's what people will see. What about the fact that they're demolishing a building that's full of asbestos? Nobody really takes any notice of that because, generally speaking, the inspectorate and people like that are not trained to that level on some of the more detailed subjects. So that's, for me, that's where the gap is. And that's where we need to see an upskilling programme. I'm not saying the inspectors don't know what they're doing, they do. I'm just saying there's broader things. There's some broader things that we currently overlook. And I think there's an opportunity now with the new Act to really close them in.
Okay, so if you remember the third question that I asked you about negligence, so this is where negligence comes in.
Yep.
I see. So how effective is government oversight and where is it failing short?
Well, who says it's failing short?
How effective is government?
Okay, that's a better question. How effective is it? I think we sit somewhere. I mean, we've got to understand that there's 212 countries around the world. Some are here with safety. Some are here with safety. We sit somewhere in the middle. So we're not bad, but we could improve greatly. And I think what's happening now is we're seeing those improvements come into place. So we shouldn't beat ourselves up that says the government's not doing this, the government that. No, they are. They are. But there's always a spectrum with everything. Are you at the bottom? Are you at the top? We're probably somewhere in the middle, but we're moving in the right direction, and that's good. The government's moving in the right direction.
Okay. So if you had the power to change just one thing today, or to save lives in workplaces, what would it be?
Education.
Can you explain more on that? What do you mean?
You don't know what you don't know. Okay, so we train thousands of people in Zambia every year. We train them on management systems, we train CEOs, we do legal training, we do compliance training for workers. I'm a chairman, I'm not a commercial person, so I'm saying this for what's right for the country. We need to improve people's awareness, and that needs to be done through post-tertiary education, more workplace safety, workplace skills, and that needs to be done through practical and classroom-based training to upgrade people's safety skills so people understand what's right and wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Education.
Education, so it's only education on that. Only. There's no other way.
I didn't say that. That wasn't your question. Your question was, what would you do?
What would you do?
And
your
so
take is education.
So I'm saying education. That was your question was, what would I do?
Okay.
And I'm saying that's education.
And to those that are not interested in education, how do you intend on to bring in closer to you so that they understand the whole thing about your organization, the safety nets and everything that they
That's
need
where
to
this
follow?
comes in. Here's the rules. This is the rule book.
That's a whole book of the rules.
But that's the new rules. Here's the rule book. That's the starting point.
Would you share like 2 or 3 points in the book or the rule book?
Okay, so the rule book, the rule book, the new rule book says every organisation, whatever work you're going to do, if you've got more than 10 employees working for you, you must do a risk assessment. Okay. That's new. It's always been there that you should do a risk assessment, but now it's turned to an absolute law, which is must. You must carry out. You shall carry out. They are absolute laws. So if you don't want to learn, doesn't mean that you don't have to do it. And that's where legislation comes into place. Another one is an employer must do a medical before somebody starts work, whether that's the employer or the employee that instigates that. It has to be done now. So it's going to become an illegal process that all employees in all industry sectors have to have a medical.
A medical? That's a medical report?
Yes.
So whenever they're coming to you, they need to carry along a medical report?
To start work, and then the employer's got 30 days to do one with the Occupational Health and Safety Institute. That has to be done. So that's new. So typically in the past, if you work in an area where you could get silicosis, pneumocanosis, things like that, lung diseases, then it was law back then, certainly in the mining sector, to do a medical. Now, it covers all industry sectors.
Oh.
Well.
Amazing.
So yes, it's brilliant.
Brilliant.
I mean, it's just brilliant. So there are a couple of things that just off the top of my head, you've got to have, companies now got to have a policy. They've got to have some rules. How can employees do what they're told if the employer doesn't put any rules in place?
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work. You can't have people driving down a road and have a road sign that says don't drive fast. You need to tell people it's 60, it's 80, it's 40. In order for a person to abide by something, there needs to be some rules in place. Otherwise, you can't chastise somebody for not doing something if they don't know what they're not supposed to do or what they are supposed to do.
Most definitely. So we've come to the end of our interview for today. What other closing remarks do you want to share with the people before you go?
Okay,
before I let you go.
So I think for me, the OSH Act is out. It was announced by the President last week. Oh, yeah? It's been a long time in the making. It's the same but changed. There's some more things that we have to do. And the message for me, my final message is, please, company owners, company directors, senior management, please take this serious. This is passed. This is a law that's been passed. This is not, something that we can look at in a few years' time. Start looking at it now. SMTS, Safety Management Training Services, and other organisations are getting behind this. We're offering some free briefing sessions. You're quite welcome to come along. Anybody that's got a company, quite welcome to come along to those briefing sessions. There are other organisations. The government's going to be running briefing sessions. Don't ignore it. Don't sit there thinking it'll go away. It's not going to go away.
Okay.
It's not going to go away.
All right, thank you so much. And you've heard it, health is wealth. All you have to do is follow their organization and do what you have to do. For now, let's take a break. We'll be back shortly.
Early in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily meal, the taste of home.
Prime Mill Meal, pure, proudly Zambian, the taste of home.
When news breaks, we are already there. Welcome to Prime TV2 Zambia, the channel that never sleeps. From community stories in your backyard to national headlines shaping the country and sports and international updates that keep you ahead, we bring it all to your screen. 24/7 news, fast, reliable and unmatched. Catch us on Topstar, channel 110. Watch live on Facebook, Ptv2 Zambia. Prime TV2 Zambia, your window to the nation, your gateway to the world.
Kodi muli ndi decoder ya Topstar? Ngati muli nayo, onererani kanema ku channel yatsopano ya Prime TV2 Zambia pa channel 110 kuti mumvetsere ku nkhani zothyakuka mwatsatanetsatane. Izi ndi nkhani zochitika ku madera amene mukhala ndi kwina. Mogwira ntchito pamodzi ndi akatswiri pa nkhani zotola ndi kulemba nkhani, tidzakupatsirani nkhani zomveka bwino komanso zogwira mtima zitangochitika. Prime TV2 Zambia, nyumba yanu ya nkhani zongochitika kumene.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Prime Television Zambia 2 Sunrise Breakfast Show, coming to you live on Topstar, channel 110, and streaming live on our Facebook page. That is Ptv2 Zambia. Tell us what you're thinking. Put your comment in the comment section, and we want to hear what is on your mind. But for now, let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. I know people are getting ready for what to wear and how to dress. And the weather forecast is going to tell us. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. That was the weather forecast for today. Carol, what do you have for us today?
All right, so on the weather forecast, what we have for you today, I think you can just drive us in.
No, so I think the weather forecast was done, and looks like you're preparedly dressed for the weather.
Definitely, because this weather is so unpredictable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So right now we're going to check on what the Kwacha resilience looks like, but the pressure is real. So here is what's trending against the major currencies.
Buying at 22 kwacha 40 Ngwe, selling at 22 kwacha 76 Ngwe, and we have the Great British Pound buying at 25 kwacha 83 Ngwe and selling at 25 kwacha 92 Ngwe. And we are buying the Rand at 1 kwacha 21 Ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 23 Ngwe. And remember, the rates are indicative and they vary from bank to bank. Yes, so now we get in depth and look at what is trending and what is headlining on the newspapers for today. Before we open the newspapers, what are you looking at? What are you expecting today, Carol? Did you expect any headline before we read these headlines?
Actually, I'm expecting a lot of headlines because one, we haven't. A lot has been trending. Mm-hmm. We've had the Mouse Sampa being arrested, the president not being active, but we're seeing pictures being posted online.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, we have a lot to look at. So let's dive into the news diggers that has its ears to the ground. And believe me, they're digging deeper more than you can expect. So yeah, they wish me dead, but I'm working for the people. HH.
You know, this comment, there's a video that came up when the late Sata was sick, and HH went up there and said, if someone is sick, please, Kambani, let's not play with health, Njega Nakamba, HH. And now people in the same faith are giving sentiments and statements, because it is habitual that when a president is not seen for some time, that no adwa. Some were saying when the president is sick, Amatenga 10 days sick leave. So that everybody knows of the situation. And like just being ghosts, like they claim it. And he was not even there at the time. He didn't even show up. He didn't show up, and he was quiet at that period. So people were worried. Maybe Adwala, because he lose my elections, Kuchawama, people are worried, and people needed to know what was going on.
Yeah, people were really worried, because what really got my attention is the part where they say he's saying he's not feeling well and he hasn't been around, but we're seeing pictures of him being posted to say he's doing other things instead of coming on board. So when we talk of the president, these are sensitive and need to be handled with care, more especially when it comes to him being the leader of the nation, So I feel like he should come to board and tell the people to say,
Let's look at the Mass newspaper and the headline, the first headline that is there.
All right, so kill minors, order condemned.
It instructs army to estimate.
God say trespassers.
Okay, even Kuma Farm, me, I come from Palavana, Kuma Farm. It's just a pity that Palavana, if you are using Silverest Road, you won't manage to come to Palavana town, because there's a place called Mono Bridge, which is in tatters there. But what it is that at our side there, if you go into someone's farm, if you go into someone's property, trespassing, they can actually kill you. I've heard of stories like that.
This is something that we've been seeing literally all the time on TV, on newspapers, everything trending in our communities. We'll speak of our communities because this is the places where we come from. So when we talk of trespassing, trust me, you cannot just trespass. And then my phone said, what are you doing? Especially in my hours, let's say awkward hours.
Yeah.
Midnight, saying like, what are you doing on somebody's property? So these are the results, not because we're accepting the situation, but why are you trespassing?
Oh, yeah. So I think we must look at it from an objective point of view. If you're not supposed to be somewhere, don't be there.
Don't be there. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, let's not try to politicize these things. If you're not supposed to be somewhere, stay in your lane, be home, and let's avoid us being brought up and some sentiments being brought, like,
And you know what really puzzles me the most? You're trespassing on somebody's property, and then something happens to you. Let's say that person holds you hostage, or they take you to a nearby police station, and then they want to involve the government. If that person tortures you, they'll try to involve the government to say, no, you cannot be allowing people being tortured because they were trespassing certain acts. We've seen these things happening, and they're still happening. Court cases, I may say other cases are in court concerning the same thing.
And when you look at this particular headline, God side trespassers, we need to take keen and protect the GDP of our country and do things in the right way. If you're going to do gold mining, do it rightly so that you're taxed properly, so that there's proper circulation of money in the system. Have you seen this interesting headline in the mass newspaper? Teachers flee school amid sex in dreams claims. Wagona abantu usiku wakagona maticha wambotawa mu maskulu.
What do you mean wagona abantu? Like sleeping with people, like what?
No, the mass newspaper said it. Teachers flee school amid sex in dreams claims. So abantu wagona walotati muntu wanigo anigona wambotawa ma teachers guys. So whatever is going on in these areas, guys, let us.
These are things that we call paranormal. Like, how do you let those things happen? And now it's here. How do you intend on to resolve such issues? So
I would neither confirm or deny those allegations without proof. But teachers have said there's people having sex with them in their dreams and they're running away. What does the Daily Nation say?
All right, the Daily Nation, Chief Mpamba Kens Makebi.
The Daily Nation?
Yes, Daily Nation. The Daily Mail, rather.
Daily Mail, okay.
The, Chief Mpamba Kens Makebi.
Let me go just there. So the Daily Mail says Chief Mpamba. Okay, yeah, so we see, chiefs usually bless their people, and we saw this happening yesterday after a fracas that was seen where Makebi was raided from his home. It was quite some interesting situation where police went there, and the police said the people who were at his house are the ones who reported to the police saying kuno gathering kuno. And Makebi said, no, I've not been here for quite some time.
Yeah. So the same people that were that side are the ones that reported to the police to say there is a gathering.
There's a gathering.
The gathering concerning political affairs or...
Political affairs, yes. But for him, he alleged, these people have just come to see me. It's been a while since I've been around, and so they've just come to visit.
And one thing that really took me off, and people are always passing comments concerning the same. So one person came up, I just saw a clip, to say, those people that gather in Chilangamulidos, do they have to go to the police and ask for permission? Because when he was at the village, it's been long, the people haven't seen him. So you don't have to, him being a political figure doesn't mean to say whatever gathering he holds is about politics. Those people were welcoming him, just like you said, to say, it's been long, ever since he's been at the village.
Yeah. So the difference that's there is that, in politics, they would need a permit from the police. So the police should know. So that if anything, they've got reinforcements. So when you inform them, they'll be ready to say, if anything, guys, be on standstill. Because So if Chilanga, so because looking at the past, how elections have been handled, how campaigns have been handled, there's been some sort of violence. So I think it's quite important to inform the state to inform the men in uniform our men and women in uniforms that that is happening. Yeah. So let's look at what the Daily Nation is saying, and the Daily Nation responds: "I'm fine, busy at my farm, a church," as he declares that Miles Sampa committed a crime when he accused the Electoral Commission of Zambia of having established a ghost station polling during the Chawama parliamentary by-elections, which saw the UPND lose and the FDD win.
All right, speaking of Miles Sampa, this is a sad and sensitive story, especially in our democracy, the areas of democracy. So this affects the public trust, social media by leaders, and the enforcement of cyber law. So these are the things that you need to consider. So the cyber law does not count to say you're a politician, as long as you're a human.
Okay.
Whenever you go against the law, you'll be held account of your actions.
Okay, so in response to this, we have we have a president for the Democratic Union, Akim Glovo, who gave a statement. Let's hear what he has to say, or what his comment is to what the president said, and which followed to his arrest and him being locked up.
I believe the charges against Miles Sampa are politically motivated because we can't have a situation where ECZ asked for an apology from him and he made that apology. We see a few days later he's reported to the police, and today we've seen that he's been charged and arrested for the offense of transmitting unsolicited or deceptive communication. What is surprising me is that he's been charged under the Cyber Crimes Act when the offense that he committed, I think, should have been related to the Electoral Process Act. So definitely this arrest is politically motivated. I'm sure they were looking for an opportunity to have him arrested, and I think the opportunity has come. I think that he was involved in some issues under PF, which I think he did not deliver. That's why I think they had to find an opportunity to get hold of him. And I think the opportunity has risen. I think that's why they have made this arrest. Because the offense that I think should have been on him is an offense against the Electoral Process Act. We've seen several times during elections where there's a lot that happens in by-elections, where I think there's voter buying. We've seen people making statements, but we've never seen anyone arrested. So what is so different about Miles Sampa's statement? I believe the government should just help the public understand, and they'll give the opportunity to the opposition. I think that for a long time we've been complaining about the shrinking democratic space, where whenever you make a statement as an opposition leader, you are targeted always. So I think this is a part of the targeting that we've been talking about when we say the democratic space is shrinking.
That's the Democratic Union president. And to some extent, the perception and the precedent that is being set seems to be right. Maybe this arrest is politically motivated.
Actually, when it comes to this case, is that the police are applying, just like I said earlier, the police are applying the Cyber Act, regardless of the status.
But then, did it have to be done after the president says something about it? Does it mean that the president...
He's the head of state.
No, but there are laws and rules on how we're supposed to be governed. The police have an act that they use. Okay, they don't need for the president to say, arrest this man, then he's arrested. No. So this is politically motivated. Because there are presidents, there are people who have done the same. President Antonio Mwanza also released something. He apologized. He was not caught. He was not nabbed. We didn't hear about it if he was nabbed. But Miles Sampa did the same, and he also apologized. But then after apologizing, when the president spoke about it and said he must be arrested, Njepe and our police.
Let me tell you, law applies to everyone, despite you apologizing. So those elections are sensitive to the community.
Yes.
You get. So whatever he says, people are listening, people are watching. So whatever you utter on your mouth shall be taken against you.
But this settlement should not have happened after the president spoke, because this should have happened after the elections or after statement. How do we trust the police like this?
Actually, that's out of question, because literally it's a crime, like I said earlier. You cannot just go around and start bringing up issues that you are not sure of. You only say something that you are sure of.
How can they be not sure when the ECZ itself were prompt and adequately responded to say these are lies?
Tell
and
them
the
to
police,
show you receipts.
Tell
them to show you receipts of the information, the false allegations that are being thrown.
The false allegations, yes, they were false, yes. Indeed, they were false. The ECZ went to the polling station and the ECZ promptly responded to the Zambian people and said, those are false. After that, Mao Sampa apologized, okay? Then, after the president, the issue here with us, the Zambian people, is
that's why,
after the president spoke, he should, if that was wrong, he should have arrested, not after the president spoke, but when that thing happened, or the following day. But
it doesn't matter the duration. It doesn't matter the duration. As long as it's a crime. Anything to do with cybercrime, be it today, be it, even if you said something today to me, Dominic, let me give you an example. You said something to me. Trust me, no matter the years that are going to come, be it, this is 2025, I'll still open the case to say, on the 21st of January, 2025, Dominic said this and that. And for that, I would want to press charges against him.
The Zambia police is a very strong arm, and we trust them with the peace of our country. They are there to make sure everything goes well. And we should understand that there are three arms of government and they operate independently. It shouldn't wait for the head of state to say this is wrong for someone to act. The police, wanaenda kuchani, wanaenda kuma training, kwendo punzira vamene hivi. I don't know if Akaende also went to go and learn this, but our president didn't go and learn. I doubt. Okay, so these people are in a better position to advise the president to say, Mr. President, this is not the president advising them.
Even when the damage has already been done.
So now the way it looks
the damage has already been done. How do you intend on bring all those things?
This looks politically motivated to just hunt down the PF. Because look at the leaders that have been arrested. Munia Zulu. We have Boma Lusambo. We have
mentioned them all.
We also have.
But are they being arrested for? They do not have charges. They've just been arrested for the sake of being arrested, or they.
But what I'm saying is the precedent that is being set right now is a very bad precedent, and the Zambian people are looking. By the way, I was there in Chawama when the elections were there, and the campaigns were Wali Mukaka. This one, they arrested this one. No, this and that, and that's the same thing happening in Kasama. Now, how do we act professionally and change this narrative is by acting promptly and being consistent. What Masapa did was wrong, and I highly, with highest esteem.
I've got one question for you.
I highly condemn that.
Where do you draw the line?
I highly condemn that.
Where do you draw the line?
I draw the line in people being prompt. When you do something wrong, it shouldn't take Boss Musa or Boss Brian to come and tell you, to come and tell me that this is wrong. That I should act. If it's wrong and I'm the one in charge there, I should tell you this is wrong and I should act upon it. It shouldn't take someone else outside to come.
What if there is a higher authority that you have to wait on in order for you to be held accountable?
In this case, the president being the higher authority is the law that governs. That's why the president even says there's no one above the what?
The law.
Above the law. Even the president is not above the law.
The president.
Yes, he's the commander-in-chief, yes.
Yes, the commander-in-chief.
As he's the commander-in-chief, no one is above the law. So when something...
Including him.
No, including him. Yes, yes.
What do you mean?
He says that even him is not above the law. He says that himself.
Yeah, if
it's there even in our laws. Even he's not above the law.
Let me tell you something.
He's also not above the law.
When he was pressing all those false allegations, So they needed to have the receipts as well. That's why they delayed.
No,
and
they
then
had
by
the
the
receipts.
time the president came in,
They had the receipts. It was all over social media. He did something wrong. He even accepted, I'm sorry. After saying I'm sorry, the president wakambako went on manga. No. Pamene patapena chitachoipa. Ndizofuko mukuya. So the Zambia police
higher authority
has yes, but that means everything is being politically done. Just like the president has said, it's politically motivated. Let's look at other let's look at what's trending in the Times of Zambia newspaper.
So on the Times of Zambia, your paper for you all the times, the paper that keep you informed, make sure that you're updated with all the news that is going on around our communities. So 136,434 obtained school certificates. We're talking of the grade 12s.
Nice. This is good. This is good.
This is amazing.
Yes, this is amazing. And now, when we are seeing this, we are expecting our leaders to now start to look at other avenues of empowering these young people. Pali aba 70% venanguswa fuenda ku school kutenga certificate ya medicine. Venongafuna ma trades.
Yeah, because it has marked 70%,
yes,
which is a higher mark.
Yes, so 70% mukulu venangufuna kuchaya ma trades. Which trades we also are doing muchani CDF. Okay. How are our leaders responding? My councillors what? How are they responding? How is the council chairperson taking this? How is the mayor and their people and their group saying, okay, how many of this 70% is in our area? How many are we empowering? How many are we helping this side? How many are we pushing for? You know, there are all these things. So we need to reduce on our politics. I understand we're in a very political year, but we have 70% pass rate. These are people who have come into society.
Come into society.
And they told us society was by 21 is wakwatira on a job.
25 in Abazukuru.
So
every time when you enter the society, it's like you have to have those new expectations. You have to know how to fend for yourself.
Yeah.
You have to manage yourself when it comes to funds. Nishita miapita, you can tell my parents to say, they help me and stuff like that. So hoping government has something new for this.
Yeah, we hope so. And even our political leaders, those in the opposition, they need to start preaching messages of issue-based things that will actually bring help to their people. Let's hear the member of parliament for Chawama. Let's hear him, what he says. How many people in Chawama are in this 70%? And what is his message for them? What is his encouragement for them? What has he told the councillor? How do we help these people? Should we help these people with the CDF or my scholarship or my sponsorship or my chan? You know, we need such issue-based politics to happen in our country. Not no no arresting of this, no arrest Mao Sampa. We need.
Why are you bringing in the arresting part?
Because these are the things that are headlining.
Nobody has committed a crime, so nobody's been arrested.
And because they are politicians, whatever they say is usually headlining, and we follow it. So if they change their headlining and what they are saying, the perception of the country changes. The precedence of what we are doing, even also what changes. So let's look at such things. Once you have, then again,
if it were up to you, how do you intend to help them?
If it was up to us in Paravana, ask the people in Paravana, the people.
Speak on your own. So
even, you know, not just that we have these people who have completed and who have passed, we also have those that passed last year. We also have students who've graduated in college, who just graduated recently and graduated years before and have not yet been employed, and there's a backload of youths who are unemployed. So let's look at this from an objective point of view and see that this percentage of people are going to go into college and are going to add up that backload of those who are not employed. How do we end the issue of unemployment in our country? So we need our leaders to be more intellectual and more issue-based than what they are doing. So things design, you know what I mean?
I say for the first time, Mugambako, something that is going to help at least and give hope to the viewers, and especially those that obtained these marks and you're part of the 70%. This is a high chance that you can find yourself something to do and involve yourself in businesses and just be active.
Yes. Okay, colleagues, that was what we had for you. That's what we're reading, actually. That's what the newspaper headlines have for us today, and we have discussed and we have read. Please give your comment in the comment section on Facebook and let us know what you think, or you can also dial and call us directly, and we'll pick and would like you to engage and would like to be part of this conversation. And before we will be delving shortly into the world of sports with the man, JC Blaze, who just walks sports, eats sports, lives sports,
talk sports,
and is just a very sports gentleman. Before we bring JC Blaze, what do you have on your mind from these headlines that we've just read? What's on your what's your overall comment on the news headlines that we've?
Just looking forward to what the government and the higher law has for Mr. Mao Sampa and all the allegations that he made. And also looking forward to how the people that obtained, the students, the grade 12 that obtained their certificates will...
In ending these headlines, Carol,
Okay.
do you think, is this accountability in action, or maybe it's
Okay, let me
selective?
just say it overall. Ultimately, this is
Enforcement.
about safety and especially alarming.
Okay.
You know, so when a leader has done something wrong, he must set as an example.
Okay.
It's important to remind everyone to say his arrest or conviction is not about him being held account, but it's about him being accountable accountable of his actions. So overall, one thing that I tell you, what stand out in this case is that the police are applying the laws and nothing should be held against him, and they're following the cyber law crime.
Okay.
You get so the other thing that you need to question yourself as leaders, I'm taking it up to you, because you said no, he apologized, no, he did this and
No,
that.
he did apologize. It's
Yeah,
on, it's on air, it's on
does
camera,
this
it's
arrest
on,
strengthen?
it's on
or-
record, it's on the newspapers. It's
Yeah,
everywhere.
it is there. It is there. So does the arrest strengthen or weaken public trust in the cyber crimes of act?
So this is the same question I was just asking, and you've asked me differently. For me, this action is not accountability. This is selective enforcement, because there are many people that have done wrong things, but you decide who to arrest, which is not a good thing. And why I'm drawing this is because why did they have to wait for the president to speak? Does it mean these people can't work? Someone needs to be fired and someone needs to be put on that position because they're not doing their job. Because the head of state, the officer and the chief of command cannot start saying arrest this and arrest that. No, that's supposed to be the job of the police. So if someone is not doing their job, they should be fired. We have a backload of students who have graduated, backload of people who want jobs. Already we've got 1,000 something pupils who have passed 70% of the country, such a big record. People want jobs. If someone's not doing their job, let them be fired. Because already now they're decampaigning the president, they're decampaigning the UPND, they are decampaigning the political system.
Okay, so
and there's no trust right now. Because anything that happens right now, it will be politically motivated. Someone should be fired.
So one thing that you should know is that whether you are an ordinary citizen or a public office holder, information shared, especially during an electoral period, carries weight.
I understand that.
So allegations of fake polling stations can easily cause panic, confusion, and even unrest.
That's why we need to prompt leaders or prompt people in these positions. That's what I was just saying. I'm with you on this one. We're in the same camp.
So one thing that you should also consider is that it's not that him being, let me try to agree with you a bit. Maybe it will make you feel better. Yeah, so at the same time, it's important to remind you, the viewers, to say an arrest is not a conviction. So Honorable Sampa will have a day in court, and due to process, everything must be respected. So he will have his day in court and everything would be brought to book. So for now, what we can do is just wait for the way forward. Yeah, we should just await.
Okay, dear viewers, this is you watching the Sunrise Breakfast Show. For now, we switch gears and we're bringing in the man, JC Blaze. After the break, don't go away.
fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily me, the taste of home.
Prime Mill Meal, pure, proudly Zambian, the taste of home.
Kodi muli ndi decoder ya Top Star? Ngati muli nayo, onererani kanema ku channel yatsopano ya Prime TV2 Zambia pa channel 110 kuti mumvetsere ku nkhani zothyakuka mwatsatanetsatane. Izi ndi nkhani zochitika ku madera amene mukhala ndi kwina. Mogwira ntchito pamodzi ndi akatswiri pa nkhani zotola ndi kulemba nkhani, tidzakupatsirani nkhani zomveka bwino komanso zogwira mtima zitangochitika. Prime TV2 Zambia, nyumba yanu ya nkhani zongochitika kumene.
Welcome back, and you are still watching the Sunrise Breakfast Show. And we are live on Top Star Channel 110 and streaming on our Facebook page. With me is JC Blaze. He's going to run us through into the world of sports. Good morning, JC.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
You're good. You're not asking how I'm doing. Too serious for the morning. Remember, joy comes in the morning.
Well, it depends on the where you're getting the joy from.
Oh my God. Anyways, just run us through what is happening in the world of sport.
Well, there are a lot of things that are happening, especially our local. We've got so many other sports disciplines that are participating in so many competitions. So African champions in terms of handball. We do have the handball team that has already traveled, and they should be playing their game, their very first game, at 19 hours later this evening. And we're only hoping that they're going to do better. There are so many other competitions that they didn't do well. And this is the time for them to redeem themselves. And let's see how they're going to perform. We've got also ABSA Cape Epic. That is going to happen between 15th and 22nd March 2026. That's next month. The good thing is they've got sponsorship that has come from ABSA Bank as well as QFM. The mining that is brought in some money, FQM mining. So they've put in $60,000 each. That gets to 2.4 million kwacha that they're going to spend for the 4 riders that are going to participate in the mountains, like riding bikes. And we've got the national champion who is going to be part of the 4 riders that are going to go to Cape Town. We've got the former champion and another 2 who are brothers, obviously, participating in this, particular Matthews and Ernest Mazabuka. Are going to be part of this particular competition that is going to happen. And one thing is, it's a testament that, we've got so many other sports disciplines that are participating in games. It's not just about football. You know that we're just coming from football, where Zambia really didn't perform up to expectations. But this time around, we've got these that will be hoping to go and fly the flag of Zambia high, and probably even come up with big medals that they're supposed to come up with. So this event, like I said, will be running from March 15th to 2022. That is on 2026. We're only hoping that they're going to do better and bring out the best that they can. And another thing is something that is going to happen, obviously, in May. We do have one particular individual that is in chess, international master Andrew Kayonde. One thing about this guy is that he didn't wait for government to bring in sponsorship. But he had to go and raise his funds himself. So first of all, he was looking at 35,000 kwacha, but he has raised 55,000 kwacha. So it's a very important thing that everybody else should look out for and learn from him. An individual raising this kind of money, not waiting for government to give you money. He did what he was supposed to do, and it was amazing that he did that, and we appreciate him, and we look forward to see how he's going to perform in Egypt. That is in May, so we're counting down to that. So he's going to come, and this money is going to help him for preparations for this particular tournament, and obviously just doing exactly what he's supposed to do in terms of travels and everything else that he's supposed to do.
So everything has been
catered for, because he was looking, the budget was 55,000.
Sorry, I want to cut you short. We've been having complaints, especially when it comes to sports, of people complaining to say whenever there's a tournament or they're supposed to go out of the country, they usually have difficulties when it comes to the funds. How true is that?
Well, it is true. Now, it also depends on...
So it's true that they're not given. They only have to...
Government can't give everyone, because, look, we've got so many disciplines.
But it's up to government.
There's so many disciplines.
They're putting the government on the map.
And government has got so much to do. Look, I will give an example. Maybe I'm not really speaking for government, but I'm speaking reality and what really happens. First of all, if I need 55,000 kwacha, and then we don't have medicine, which one do you think government will fall or will go for? Which one is...
They need to consider both.
They only have 55,000 kwacha.
They only have 55,000.
And there is no medicine. So there are a lot of things that are needed. And for example, now...
Split the amount.
There are some things that are really happening at the moment, like flooding. Nobody expected that some houses are going to be flooded. So many people have remained destitute. I don't really think that you have to take sports instead of helping those people that are in need at this particular moment. So even the money that was channeled to that particular one is going to be taken somewhere else.
But don't you think...
that is the most important thing, because we're looking at the bigger picture. Here, government has got so many things. And this is
don't
why...
Don't you think government must plan ahead so that they cater for all the things that are supposed to be in line?
But you know, government... One thing that you should understand when it comes to sports is that it's not the sole responsibility of government to sponsor athletes, but it's the sole responsibilities of the people that have been put in those particular positions to find money. So government will help out. Where they can't take you or give you the actual money that you need, they just have to help out. It's like they have to meet you halfway. So you have to do it yourself, and then government will pay the rest of it if they can. So, for example, there's some things that they were doing, like government will just pay for transport, for example. The rest of the things, it's up to you to do that. And in most cases, these people have been lazy, not looking for money. They have to look for money. So government can help with PPP, private partnership.
Sorry for cutting you short, but I hear that whenever there's a sport event, let's say a basketballer will be playing in Zimbabwe. That's an example. Basketballers are playing in Zimbabwe. They do not have the funds to travel, let's say, to Zimbabwe. Governments, they apply for government to step in to say, we're going to Zimbabwe, and then would need you to fund us with a certain amount. And the government says no. They deny them from going.
Do they deny?
But that side...
It's just that they don't have money. Government.
How sure are you government doesn't have money? Are they not planning ahead for the events that are coming? Especially...
So here's the thing. When sports, the way things happen, like this is January, right? So every sports disciplines do have the budget for the whole year. They've got events. They all understand the events that are going to happen. So what should happen is that, first of all, you have to really try and fight for yourselves and see how much money you're going to raise for these events that you have. And secondly, you have to give National Sports Council your program on these are the programs that we have. But if you are going to give a program...
I thought money came in after...
Listen, what I'm saying is you have to give government the program. Because how do you budget for the events that you don't know?
They should know. That's a more reason they should know.
This is why I'm saying...
Plan ahead.
This is what I'm saying. The planning ahead starts with the basketball. So, for example, you've given me a basketball association of Zambia. So they do know... Government doesn't know exactly what the events they have.
Is it that government
is supposed to be told...
Ignorant of this...
It's not ignorant.
No,
it's not about being ignorant. It's about, the procedure. The procedure is... Every sports disciplines have to send their schedule for the whole year To the National Sports Council. So National Sports Council is a body that stands for government. You don't have to go straight to the ministry. You go to the National Sports Council, who are funded by government, to fund some of these who are affiliated to the National Sports Council. If you are not affiliated to National Sports Council, you can never be helped at all. But if you are affiliated to them, give them your plan. These are the programs that we have. So government will look at the programs according to how the programs are. But if you don't give them, it's not ignorant by government. It's not government to follow you and say, oh, in Thursday or in this year, in 2026, by basketball, where are you going? No.
So what you mean is
that it's them to give them the program. They're supposed to give.
They
have to give the program to government, and then government will take it up, and they'll tell them, okay, the money that we have is not going to cater, because we've got so many people that are traveling. So the money that we have is not going to cater for everything in your budget. Say, for example, you've got a 55,000 kwacha budget. So government will tell you, okay, so your money that is supposed to be given to you is 50,000, for example. So you have to find your own 5,000 kwacha, the remainder that is remaining. So that is government is stepping in to help, but you have to do the most. But in most cases, these are not doing the most. That's why I'm recommending this guy, the international master, Kayo Andrew, who has gone beyond. He has really found the money alone as a person who is going to travel. He had a budget of 35,000 kwacha, but he raised 55,000 kwacha, which is recommended for me. And this is a big thing. And this is how things are supposed to be. You don't have to just sit because, government, it's a responsibility of government. No, do something, and then government will follow up and help out in terms of how things are supposed to be. You have to plan ahead. You have to know. So, like, for example, I do have Football Association of Zambia. They've got the whole year how the program is going to be. The program came out last year, and they presented this program to National Sports Council. So National Sports Council knows exactly how Football Association of Zambia is going to do. The only thing that is, the whole year. And then the only some few things that are added, like
so what you're telling me is that the mistake that people usually make, especially those that
they don't plan ahead
they
themselves.
don't plan ahead.
Yes.
So whatever befalls them is not the government's problem, but their problem and their coaches, let's say.
Yeah, and then one thing that you have to understand is that Ministry of Sports doesn't make money. They are funded by the Ministry of Finance. So it depends on how much money the Ministry of Finance
Doesn't the money
is going
comes
to release.
in when they go out,
they give the budget. So here's the thing. That's why we've got a budget. So we've got a budget for 2026. That was the minister that he announced the budget, and the money that is allocated to Ministry of Youth, Sports and Art. So this is a ministry that's got three. So there's sports, there's art, and there's youth. So in everything, they do allocate this amount of money, and then they'll share the amount of money from that each of the allying minister. Because, for example, they've got Minister of Youth, they need money. So from the money that has been given to that ministry, it will be shared amongst the three, that art and sports as well as the youths. So these monies, you have to manage them the whole year. And this money is not given at once. They give them in lump sum. So it depending on how they need it. But if you've got so many problems that you have as a ministry, so the Ministry of Finance will decide where to take the money. They're not going to give you because people wants to go and travel and go and play football, for example, when people are dying in hospitals. It is a responsibility of government, yes, but if you don't have money, you don't have money. There's nothing that you can do.
Isn't the government benefiting?
How?
When, let's say, they've gone for the same event, they come back and then and they come in with some money, and they're given some, what do you call it again? Refund. I call it a transport refund.
I think it will take all day to explain that. Let me just go through some of the things that we have to.
Please.
So 17 golfers and officials have acquired the Royal and H&R&G Level 1 rules of golf certification. And one thing that I like about this is that I do have one of the good friends, Marlon Kananda, who has gotten this amongst the 17. Former Zambia Golf Union as well, president, has managed to get this, which is a very good thing, certification that is supposed to be needed. And of course, we do have so many other things that are happening. In the Copper Queens have been invited in the FIFA edition series that is happening, and of course they will be playing in March. This is the second edition. So the first edition happened last year in 2024. So they will be playing again this year. Of course, Copper Queens have been picked. They will be playing the likes of Brazil. So it's a good thing that they will be playing against them. But it has come at a time when the AFCON or the WAFCON is going to happen. So I don't know how the Football Association of Zambia is going to put the two tournaments together and see exactly that they fulfill that. And of course, the WAFCON, which Zambia has qualified. And remember that we're in the group against Nigeria, that the one that beat us last time around in the WAFCON, 5-0. This time around, we're looking forward to beating the defending champion Nigeria and do better. There's Malawi in that particular group. We've also got Egypt. Egypt who qualified through the playoffs. But of course, Malawi, they've qualified for the first time. So this is another thing.
For the first time, you say? Malawi.
Yes, Malawi for the first time at the WAFCON. And this shows that Copper Queens are doing great and being recognized throughout the world, and FIFA are recognizing them, which is a very good thing. So I have to continue on that trajectory and continue doing this. And this happens twice in a year. So it happens after 2 years. After 2 years, again, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
So it happened in 2024. That's the first one. The second one happened in 2026, 2028. That's when it's going to happen.
2030.
So they have to do better throughout the 2 years, in 2026 up to 2028, for them to be picked and play in that particular regional tournament. That is a very huge success for the Copper Queens. And for the Chipolopolo boys, unfortunately, we've dropped on the rankings, the FIFA rankings, the Coca-Cola FIFA rankings, after the outing at the Africa Cup of Nations wasn't really better. So what has happened is that, first of all, we were at number 18 in Africa, but we've gone to 19 in Africa. That is in the rankings. 91st we're from 87th in the world or globally to 91st in globally. So that's a drop because of the performance that we had at the Africa Cup of Nations. It was a very bad performance.
Doing right as far as...
No, there's a lot that we're not doing very well. That's the reason why government, through National Sports Council and the Ministry of Sports, came up with an indaba that happened last year. So this indaba is to find the root cause and find a way on how we're going to work on our football, especially the senior team who are not performing up to expectation. Because obviously the other teams are performing well. We've got the under-17 who are performing very well. Women and boys, under 20 men and boys are performing very well. They're doing very well. The women are doing very well as well. So it's certainly the senior team that are not performing very well. And this is the reason why we had to come up with an indaba. So this indaba is to intervene and come up with programs. So there is a blueprint that is going to be printed by the National Sports Council and the Ministry of Sports. So that is the model that we're going to follow and work on those a few things that we do have. And one other thing that I have to tell you is that, first of all, the prerogative of, or the real issue, or the real things that government should be doing is infrastructure. In other countries, government don't support or don't sponsor people to go and participate in tournaments. They do find their own money from different companies and all. The only thing that government do is help them with PPP. So they will go and speak on their behalf to these companies, and so that these companies can sponsor them. But in most cases, governments, what they're supposed to do is build infrastructure. And that's the reason why in Zambia, because we spend a lot of money taking one person to go and participate in England, for example, taking the Copper Queens, the Chipolopolo boys, you know, the budget of the Chipolopolo boys is just too huge.
It's too huge.
It's enormous. And then if that money is taken to go and build some of the, the stadiums in different provinces. In fact, if we needed to have at least state-of-the-art mouth facility in all the districts or in all the provinces of our country, so that at least we have people playing basketball in Shangombo, people playing volleyball in Shangombo, because they've got this mouth facility like OIDC, or we have something like OIDC, but better than OIDC in all the 10 provinces. It's the prerogative of government. This is what government is supposed to be doing. Instead of us crying, no, we didn't go because government didn't give us money. No, it's got a lot more that government is supposed to do. It's up to us. That's why we are in those positions. We are administrators. We have to look for money. We have to look for funds. We have to go from door to door to go and find out how they can sponsor us. Because we are taking this company to a different new level. And you are raising the Zambian flag, which is a very good thing. And athletes also need to be paid, because government is supposed to pay them. When they get back, wherever they went, they will still need government to pay them, even if they did well. The money that comes from these sports disciplines that we go and play in different countries is not enough to make up for what government is spending. Government spend more than what we make. That's the thing. But the most important thing is we have to do it because it employs, sports is an employer. It employs a lot of people, and that's why government gets in and help out in terms of how we're doing it. But we need to up our game as administrators. Find the money. If you've got the budget, you've got these things that you're supposed to be doing, or for example, you were planning to go and participate the way the volleyball team has, the handball team has gone. They knew from the beginning that they've really qualified to this particular tournament, and they need this much money for them to go and do these things. What you need to do is engage a lot of companies. If you can't get closer to companies, use the ministry. Use the ministry to help you. They can draft a letter for you and stamp it, so that you take it to these companies, so that they go and help you with the money that you're supposed to get. To help, and they've helped so many to go and fulfill their obligation in terms of sports and everything. But in most cases, government don't really do the whole budget. They don't. They give you up to a certain percentage. For example, they will just say, we'll buy tickets for you, or we'll do accommodation for you, or we'll do both accommodation and tickets. The rest of the things, it's up to you to do it. So these are some of the things. And of course, when they win, they will expect government to pay them, which is also another burden that has been put on government. So all these people that we've seen, the chinyembas of this world, even if they go and win the money, still government has to pay them.
It has to pay
them. So this is the obligation of government, paying those people.
Because, one thing that has really caught my attention, and I've picked up from what you've told me, out here, we see people post to say, no, we went for a certain event, we did the sport, and government did not pay us. When it's up to them.
Yeah, so they didn't pay them. They didn't pay. Yeah, there's so
it's not up to government.
Government has put up, the plan in terms of how they pay. So if you win gold, for example, you go to this particular tournament, the All Africa Games. There's certain games that government is going to help. The All Africa Games, Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games. So if you go and win a gold medal, you'll be paid $5,000. For a gold medal. If the Polo boys win #1, for example, if they won the Africa Cup of Nations, they were going to be paid $5,000 each. Yes. So if they won a bronze, it's the $3,000 each. If you win silver, 1,500 for bronze. So this is the standard price that they give. It doesn't matter whether you're a female or you're a male. A standard that the government has put up. So when you go to these particular tournaments, you go and lose and you expect government to pay you.
To pay you transport refund? What do you expect?
No, why should they pay you for losing?
What matters is that they have participated.
No.
So they need
So then everyone else will go and participate without doing anything better, because you know that I'm going to get paid. Because this thing of getting paid, even if I don't work, I'll get paid.
I'll get paid. What matters is that I've appeared.
Which is a very wrong notion that we have. But anyways, government do help, but I think we need to do more. And as far as administrators are concerned, they need to do more. They need to market it. And the corporate world can't come in if you yourselves haven't made your associations attractive. You have to brand it properly. And branding is just winning. The members say, so when you do better, people will the corporate world will just come. The riders have managed to get 2.4 million kwacha. It's not a mean achievement for them. 4 of them, just 2.4 million kwacha to go and participate in that particular tournament. The Cape Riders, so 2.4 million, not from government, but from private companies. Bank of Zambia, Absa Bank, and FQM, the mining. They've put in the money, they pumped in because they knew how to speak to them. They spoke to them with a very
calm way,
in a very clever way,
responsible way, and clever way.
So that's how you do it. And what can stop people from doing it? An individual here, we're talking about Andrew, raised his money, 55,000 kwacha. The money, 55,000 kwacha, not from government. But he did raise money.
What was the duration of him raising the whole amount?
He didn't say, but of course he started doing this. He started working on these things.
About that.
It doesn't matter. The fact is, and the budget was 35,000 kwacha. He raised 55 with a surprise. So, and I'm pretty sure before he leaves, obviously there will be some other well-wishers who put in a lot of money for him to get. If an individual is raising that, and then you as a group, you are failing, that's the razor fake.
All right,
looking at
Jesse
things.
Blaze.
And I'm sure you understand now the obligations of government.
Yes, yeah, I do understand. It was nice to have you, and thank you for sharing your insights.
It's always a pleasure.
As far as sports is concerned, and you, the viewers, in case you participate in sports, I'm sure you've heard it all from JC Blaze. For now, let's take a break and we'll be back shortly.
Early in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily meal, the taste of home.
Primarily meal, pure, proudly Zambian.
When news breaks, we are already there. Welcome to Ptv2 Zambia, the channel that never sleeps. From community stories in your backyard to national headlines shaping the country and sports and international updates that keep you ahead, we bring it all to your screen. 24/7 news, fast, reliable, unmatched. Catch us on Topstar, channel 110. Watch live on Facebook, Ptv2 Zambia. Prime TV2 Zambia, your window to the nation, your gateway to the world.
Thank you so much. You're still watching the Sunrise Breakfast Show, but this is the end of the show. Thank you to our guests and thank you to our viewers, and thank you for those that have chosen not to give conversation and not stay silent. But before we close, we're going to read out the text messages that we have on our social media platform. And wow, this one says, Dominic Klitschkapili, you look so handsome. So this is a very good comment, and I will.
It is a very good
I'll
comment.
reply personally. Then the other one from Pacey Chama says, "Are you still in 2025, Madam? I thought it was 2026." This is Pacey Chama. Thank you for your comment, and we value your association. And we also have a comment from the Road Safety People Voice of Zambia. And the comment is, they are watching Vatitamba. We thank you so much, viewers, and thank you so much for those. And all those that also want to text, please join the conversation and let us know what you think and what you feel and what's on your mind.
All you have to do is stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, democracy works best when citizens ask hard questions. Good morning, Zambia.
And have a good bye. Stay blessed.
Thank you.